that you don't want to hear. It's a story of a life where no one else draws near. It's a story of hunger that you really don't want to know, of beatings and of heartache and being driven into the cold.
I ended up getting in a domestic violence situation with my child's father, and the chronic homelessness began after that.
One of the misconceptions about homeless individuals is that everybody's on drugs and that everybody's on some kind of substance abuse issue. There are a lot of people that are simply homeless due to domestic violence.
They're in situations that they can't get themselves out of sometimes, based off mental health or generational poverty or, abuse or neglect. So they already start off behind the 8 ball, and it makes it very difficult for them sometimes to accomplish goals in life.
My life is lonely, within every hour fear. My life is cold, with a face so wet with tears. I call out for anyone, but no one seems to care. I'm one of many in a world filled with despair.
The first step is obviously for individuals who are homeless to access a location where they can obtain services.
I wanted to live on my own, Made some mistakes in my past and I learned from them. I had to start over. It was my starting over point.
So even though we have several shelters in Columbus, they were all full. And the wait list was growing and growing. And that meant that more and more women, men and families were being put out. And we actually opened up the lobby of our YMCA downtown for the women. And we got close to 40 women a night in the lobby, and we would care for them during the night, and then they would leave before the members would come.
It's crazy out there. You don't want to be out there alone and on the street, sleeping in the cold. Man, I feel bad for anybody that has to go through that.
No one chooses to be homeless. No one wakes up in the morning and says, today is the day that I choose to be homeless. This isn't a life choice. When you see tents and camps, that's not a vacation spot. This is where they live. And we are dealing with not just cold weather. We're dealing with trauma. We're dealing with addictive behavior. We're dealing with human trafficking. We're dealing with mental health. We're dealing with physical barriers, multiple barriers. And that's who's experiencing homelessness. It's just not someone that chose to be out in the cold.
My life is awful, my life is pain, my life is empty, with abuse that can't be named. There is no home for me, there is no peace, for I am nothing.
The biggest challenge is watching individuals leave and come back, leave and come back, leave and come back. Every time they leave, you realize that they're exiting to unsafe standards of living.
The Y was approached by the Community Shelter Board, which is the funder of all of the shelter services and funding for the city, to operate a building with those that are experiencing homelessness. And this would include men, women, and families. The need was astronomical. We saw it when we walked down the streets. I think that for the Y, our mission has always been to look in your community and find the need.
This is the story that you don't want to see. It's a story without dreams, 'cause the dreams can never be. It's a story of uncertainty, 'cause it's the only life I've known. It's a story of the children that the world has left alone.
No one wants to be afraid.
Or unemployed.
Or lonely.
There is no place for us. We are not seen. There is no space for us. We are unclean. My life is lonely, within every hour fear. My life is cold, with a face so wet with tears.
No one wants to be hungry.
Or sick.
Or to lie shivering in the cold all night.
Without a home?
Without hope.
Oh, what did I do to deserve this life? Please hear my voice, send an angel to my side. There is no hope for me, there is no peace, for I am nothing, nothing.
A truly great example of a community in need and the Y stepping in to fill that need. Here to help us tell the story are key members from the YMCA of Central Ohio who operate the Van Buren Center. Sue Darby, Jason Charles, Clarence Dade, and Tiffany Davis. Wonderful work. Hi, guys.
Hi, Steve.
Hello. Hi, Steve. I know all of you have been there from the beginning, but Sue, as the project leader, can you tell us a little more about how you came to be involved with the local Community Shelter Board?
Yes, so the Community Shelter Board called on the YMCA of Central Ohio to ask if we would operate a new shelter to help resolve the homeless crisis in our community. Naturally, since this fit perfectly with our Y mission, our answer was yes.
And the result of that one request is the Van Buren Center. Jason, help pick up the story. Tell us what happened next.
Yeah. We know we really needed a really big place. It just so happened that there was a large vacant warehouse available. The entire YMCA team worked along CSB to design and develop a space that would be utilized by adult men and women with the expansion to include families. We needed to provide an immediate and safe and interim environment and then to start the process of providing them with the ultimate answers of rehoming them.
And Sue, you had some other help, didn't you?
Yes, we consulted with the former executive director of the U.S. Interagency Council on Homelessness. And our team was then led through a process that would help us identify and overcome many challenges we faced through the development of the center.
That's great. So, Jason, what happened next?
Well, it took a little time, but we got an interior built out and opened our doors. We were expecting initially maybe 100 to 200 people, men, women, and children, but immediately 300 women showed up. And we knew we had even a bigger challenge on our hands than we thought.
And that was just the women.
Yes, we had to race to Walmart to get cots and mattresses out. Our team was making up beds way past midnight.
What about the men?
Well, to make room for the women, in the first few months, we had to put almost 200 men into local hotels that partnered with us in the effort.
Sue, there were other challenges, weren't there?
Yeah, all of us at the Y soon learned there would be barriers and challenges to overcome in order to make the shelter a success. Everything from cultural competency to partnership building, linkage and referrals to services, diversity, understanding the reasons for homelessness, data collection, unemployment, assistance with utilities, mental health issues, all of these were facing the operation of our shelter.
Just to name a few, right?
Right.
So Tiffany, when you opened the doors, you realized there were some big challenges. What happened next?
Well, like Sue said earlier, we realized the challenge was so great that we needed to partner with other agencies. The Y couldn't do it alone by simply trying to be the superhero. We started partnering with over 60 major organizations so we could meet as many needs as possible: mental health, unemployment, landlord relations, and more. In fact, we have partnered with over 60 community-based agencies with a specialist in their own area. The end result is pretty amazing.
That truly is amazing. So we know how many people are involved in helping to find the homeless sustainable housing, but what about addressing how they came to to become homeless in the first place. How does the Y get involved there?
We've been working with what's called the homeless in the first place. We want them to feel safe and know that they're surrounded by people who care for them. We're trying to get each person into their own home as quickly as possible.
And even that is a challenge, because when you hand them the keys to their home, it causes some of them to experience another level of trauma. It makes them afraid to be on their own. So some of them elect to simply stay in the shelter instead of taking that next step.
The other thing that Jason works on daily along with his team is to connect the various resources with each individual situation, whether it's mental health, losing connections with family and friends, making certain that children get to school.
Yes, he's constantly building bridges between each individual and a new life.
And it's all working. Let's take a look at the Van Buren Center today.
Very doable for the YMCA to take on an endeavor like homelessness, because we focus on caring, responsibility, honesty, and respect, and that's really what individuals experiencing homelessness are lacking.
So the biggest misconception is that everybody's here because they don't want to do anything. Some people are here because it's literally saving their lives if they weren't here.
I would never want to do it again, be out on the streets in the cold, like. So I found out about this place. I was like, sure, I'll come. Works.
This is the story of redemption and of grace. It's a story full of hope and a smile upon my face. It's a story of laughter and of blessed, blessed peace. It's a story of the children who at last can dare to dream.
The commitment and spirit of the community is evidenced by its dedicated volunteerism.
Our meal serving couldn't be run without the help of volunteers. We also have many volunteers that are excited about coming in and just positively impacting our guests.
Truly, the Van Buren Center has become an unprecedented social enterprise model.
Building trust is foundational and key to everything that we do here. It's actually our building block.
To develop a program to be where we're at currently, it took a lot of trial and error. We just didn't walk into the Van Buren Center and everything was in place. We probably changed our program and our service model probably 5-6 times in order to kind of get where we're at today.
Now there's a place for me. I have a home. There is no longer fear, for I am not alone.
The YMCA in and of itself can't provide everything, so we're thankful that we have community partners that are able to do that for us.
The YMCA of Central Ohio has been an incredible and significant partner with the Community Shelter Board in our work to respond to homelessness across the community.
You've raised my eyes up, so now I see the sky. The pain is dying, the fear can now subside.
When you are chronically homeless, sometimes you go years without experiencing true intentional care.
The Van Buren Center, they give me the resources that I need in order for me and my daughter to get to where it is that we need to go.
Where life was lonely, now smiles are born. Where life was cold, now it's warm. Oh, what a feeling, for now I see that I am someone.
The goal of the shelter is to provide an effective, efficient, and timely trajectory to housing stabilization by connecting and seamlessly integrating needed services to help prevent returns to homelessness.
The YMCA is a can-do organization that is all about working very hard to figure out ways to improve their community. And by being a part of something like this was really a huge opportunity for the YMCA to definitely be socially responsible.
And hope was one of the big factors that are circulating through the buildings today. We have really identified that it's not the house per se, but it's providing them with a sense of hope to obtain that house, to conquer their homelessness. If we could give them that little bit of hope, they can do a lot of other things.
Thanks to the Van Buren, the Y, I have housing, I got work, and I'm so happy. I'm so humble, more humble than I ever was, and I appreciate everything.
It's the spirit of the people that are in this building that's going through the crisis that you learn from and you just gain hope from, and it's just amazing. So for me personally, I'm a better person being around people that are dealing with the things they're dealing with.
Well, this is my home, and I'm so happy to be in my home. I got my independence back. Thank you so much to Van Buren and all the staff. I appreciate it. I really do.
Positive, uplifting, lives forever changed. A beautiful future where once there was none.
You've wiped my tears away and raised me up. You gave my life back and filled my cup. Oh, what a feeling, for now I see that I am so